Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Men on Film podcast. I'm your host, Will. Today we got Mike in the house. Say hello.
Yay, hello, it's Mike.
And today we're watching a very special movie, a little movie called Escape from New York.
New York, 1997. The entire city is a walled maximum security prison. The bridges are mined. The rivers are patrolled. And the United States Police Force has everything under control.
Down! I'm going in.
John Carpenter's Escape from New York, the high adventure of the future. One man must go in where no man has ever gotten out. John Carpenter's Escape from New York, the greatest escape of them all, is about to blow the future apart.
It's from 1981, directed by John Carpenter, written by John Carpenter and Nick Castle. Nick Castle was the murderer, the killer, Michael Myers, in the original Halloween. So I don't think he wrote much other things, but apparently this is the story. I forget what movie they wanted him to work on. Someone wanted John Carpenter to make a movie, and he said, like, I don't want to do that, but I have this script. And he pulled this script out of the trunk of his car, he says. And apparently he wrote it in college when he went to USC. And the guy's like, wow, a prison in New York? That sounds awesome. Let's do it. And so then John Carpenter and Nick Castle rewrote it. And he said Nick Castle brought all the humor, all the characterization, all the funny characters. Because, like, Carpenter just had the world and the idea and the general plot. But, you know, he wrote it before he had made a movie. And out of college, he had made, well, his first movie, Dark Star, he made in college. Then he made Halloween. Then he made Assault on Precinct 13, Halloween, the Elvis movie, Someone's Watching Over Me or whatever, Someone to Watch Over Me, The Fog, and then Escape from New York. So he made a bunch of movies. The guy was just cranking them out back then.
This is Carpenter or the other writer?
Carpenter.
Oh, okay.
So,
what's the story behind the other writer being an actor and then a writer?
I guess they were just friends and buddies, and he was like, hey, help me write this movie. Help me make it cool. And he's not even in it because he's not really an actor, I guess. I guess he's just a big guy who could play the killer, Michael Myers, wear the mask,
It's an easy role. Not a whole lot of acting involved.
Well, no, it's a lot of physical still movement, you know. The thing I like about Michael Myers in Halloween is that, like, he drives a car. And you don't ever see, like, Freddy or Jason drive cars, you know, but there's, like, shots of Michael Myers just, like, driving a car with his mask on around that town. Funny. So, Escape from New York, you know, this is kicking off. We're going to do a run of movies about New York, about how shitty New York is, especially at this time. And the funny thing about this movie is it's not shot in New York City.
Well, I didn't catch that. Where's it shot?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay, well, I guess they needed a shitty looking city, and St. Louis is pretty fucking shitty. I mean, I went there maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and it was awful then. I imagine it was awful in the 80s.
I've never been
I went
there
for a trade show, just randomly.
What trade?
When I was working for the snacks exporting company.
Yeah, so you would send snacks to Africa and shit.
Australia, South Africa, you know. So there was like a trade show there. It's like a cheap place to do a convention, you know, because space is cheap and no one wants to go there. Flights are cheap there. So that was cool, I guess.
They said the town, St. Louis, let them do whatever they wanted. Like,
nice.
The downtown area had been burnt to the ground. There was a huge fire. And then they were like, can we just shut off all the power for 10 blocks. And the city was like, yeah, go ahead, just shut off the power. No one's around. And then like that beautiful theater that Cabby's in, that's called the Fox Theater. That's like a famous theater in St. Louis. I Googled pictures of it. It's really nice. It's just like one of those awesome giant theaters we used to build in this country with all like the decorations and all the details on the walls and everything.
There's several Fox theaters. Is it like the studios built theaters back then? Is that what
Yes,
happened?
yes,
And then
yes,
they show only their movies there or something?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And
That's
then
interesting.
there was a antitrust kind
By
of thing.
Fox? For Fox?
Just the whole movie industry, and they shut down this like thing where they were distributing their own films and showing their own films. I guess they were doing, maybe they were blocking other people from showing movies. I don't know. They were doing like they were up to something. So that whole thing got regulated in the golden age of movies or whatever.
Interesting. Did not know that.
In downtown LA, if you go to like the shittiest, I mean, it's not the shittiest parts, but like they're like pretty run down areas of LA with like guys just sell t-shirts and jewelry and just like incense and like wholesale goods. A lot of those places they're selling their shit out of are former theaters that are like, yeah, the William Fox Theater or whatever. Like there's these huge theaters, and then you'll look and it's like, like there's an Urban Outfitters in a building, and it's in a converted theater, and it says the Rialto. So I guess Rialto was like a movie company that did foreign films,
Sure.
and they had their own theater, but now it's an
Hmm.
Urban Outfitters. So that whole area apparently had white flight, and everybody got the hell out of there and moved to like Beverly Hills and just abandoned downtown. But
They
they're
like
like
separate
awesome.
the theater into a couple different stores, or it's
Yes,
just once.
yes.
Yeah. Each theater is a store or something.
They just slice it in half. They just do like crazy renovations. So, but yeah, this movie, the thing about this movie is that the premise is just awesome. What if they turned Manhattan into a giant prison where you cannot, once you go in, you cannot escape?
All lifers, everyone there for life.
Yes. And what happens if the president gets stuck there? Who are you going to send to get the president out? Why you got to send a criminal?
The baddest of the bad.
The worst of the worst, the toughest of them all. He has an eye patch.
They don't really go into that, but he's ex-military, right? So it could happen anyway.
He's ex-military. He has a lot of attitude. He's Snake Plissken. He's played by Kurt Russell. He's acting exactly like Clint Eastwood.
That's fair.
But, you know, who else? Who's cooler?
Snake is cooler. Just straight up coolness. Yeah, Snake.
Smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. Cooler
Um,
guns, ridiculous guns.
Cool pants.
Yeah.
He has a punk rock kind of look to him in a
Sure,
way.
sure. Feathered hair.
Big, beautiful hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there's a picture of me as a little kid, and I kind of look like Snake. I have like camo pants. Camo pants were very big in the 80s. They're big right now too.
I remember that. And then the hammer pants were after that, which were somewhat similar.
This is a great depiction of like it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic world, this New York in this movie. Everything is busted, everything's run down, there's no power, or there's very little power. This came out the same year as Road Warrior, which I thought was interesting because Road Warrior and this movie are so similar, but yet they're so unique. And so there must have been something in the air in the time about like post-apocalypse must have just been bubbling under the surface. Like it must have
That
been
was the
coming.
theme that was hitting. Yeah, I gotcha.
Because there's a lot of things like that. And then Terminator comes around after this. This is definitely a big influence on Terminator in terms of tone and vibe and creativity and special effects. But John Carpenter is not, he's done a lot of movies with special effects, but he's not a special effects guy. For him, the thing with John Carpenter is the trademarks are the smooth, steady, sliding camera and the original music by him. The throbbing, rhythmic music, like
That
the
no, I guess
bass,
you
the
call it.
drums, and yeah, and like he made a movie called Assault on Precinct 13 that's a remake of, or it's a half remake of Rio Bravo, where a cop and criminals have to team up to stop a gang of attacking a police station. So it's kind of different than Rio Bravo, but there's like it's similar to the ending of Rio Bravo. But he just made the music in like one day, and he used a drum machine and maybe like a bass guitar or guitar or something very simple. And then that soundtrack with the drum machine, because it was like brand new technology, that got sampled by Africa Bambaataa, which is like one of the earliest hip hop groups. And there's like an early hip hop song that's just basically the theme of Assault on Precinct 13 with rap over it.
Huh.
And it's like John Carpenter, Kraftwerk, and African Bambaataa are like the building blocks of all house music, hip hop music,
Rap.
yeah, rap, anything with beats, you know. But he just he has a tone with his movies. There's like a coolness, there's a steadiness, there's a slowness. He's really good at making a mood. And a lot of his movies have like hordes of people who are evil and attacking you and seem kind of like zombies. But he doesn't make zombie movies. You probably haven't seen Prince of Darkness. That's like Alice Cooper plays a homeless person, and there's like an army of homeless people who attack a group of scientists at a church.
No, I have not seen that.
Big Trouble in Little China, I'm sure you've seen, right?
I've seen, yeah, it's been a long time, but I've seen it.
That's
Another Kurt Russell.
That's a very ridiculous. That's a very popular movie for him, but also like a ridiculous movie. Have you seen They Live?
Yeah, of course, of course. Roddy Piper.
They Live is awesome.
Yeah.
Um,
is that considered a zombie? No, that's an alien. They're aliens, not zombies.
Yeah, they're aliens, and it's a conspiracy movie. It's like a paranoid thriller.
Yeah.
I think Kurt Russell turned that down. I think he was the first choice. But maybe he became a big star.
From this movie? From Escape from New York, or he was already kind of a star?
Before Escape from New York, he had been in this Elvis movie that John Carpenter directed. It's a TV movie. It's like 3 hours long or something.
Jesus.
But before that, he was a kid's actor. He was a child actor. He was the computer wore tennis shoes. He was in these Disney movies. He wasn't considered a tough guy. So this is his first big tough guy role. And then I guess he started making 80s action movies. But he's a much better actor than Stallone or Schwarzenegger.
Sure. I mean, he is actually an actor, as opposed to those guys just kind of.
One
was a bodybuilder, and then whatever Stallone was.
It's not even that he's an actor; it's that he has like a discipline that those guys don't have, especially Stallone. Like Stallone was fucking awesome in Rocky and First Blood, but then his ego gets so big, and Cobra, and like Tango and Cash. Do you like Tango and Cash?
No, it's terrible.
I know. I watched it pretty recently. Stallone is definitely weaker than Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell kind of gets through it without embarrassing himself, but Stallone, he really isn't told. So let me ask you this. What did you think about Escape from New York watching it this time?
What did I think about?
Like, you've seen it a few times. Like, what struck you new on this watch?
what struck me as new. It was more nostalgic than anything else. I didn't notice anything particularly new. When I saw it, I thought about how Escape from LA came out when I was younger, and this movie kind of prepped me for that. But let me think. What did I notice that was new?
Did you see this
Uh,
before Escape from LA?
yeah, I definitely watched this as a kid with my dad. I can remember watching this for sure. Definitely nostalgic.
I saw
Uh,
Escape from LA first.
no, I think I saw this. I think I saw this one first. Definitely. So Lee Van Cleef was in it. I don't remember that being the case. That was one thing I remember. Did not remember.
So in San Francisco in Haight Street, there was a pizza place called Escape from New York Pizza right by the Amoeba.
Sure. Okay, yes.
And when I was a little kid, I would go there and they had a giant Escape from New York poster and I would just look at it and I thought it looked so scary. I thought the movie looked so intense with the Statue of Liberty head in the middle of the street and then Snake running and he's running with an Uzi and you see like the fire on the Uzi come out. But to me, it kind of looks like a lightsaber and it just looks like this, like such a horrifying, scary um movie. I mean, I was very young. So that was my first impression. And then I saw Escape from LA and maybe I had seen Escape from New York. I don't know. I had this feeling like I did, but I did not remember any of it. So I watched Escape from LA and as a little kid, I loved it. And then when I was older, I saw Escape from New York again. And I realized like, oh, this is exactly the same plot as Escape from LA. He literally
Sure.
just took everything from Escape from New York and just changed one thing. And but it's all the
Yeah.
same beats, it's all the same rhythms. It's an interesting way of doing a sequel. And it's at the time it seemed like a huge amount of distance had been between the two movies, but it's about 14, 15 years. That's not that much right anymore. Like people make these sequels all the time now that are like 20 years.
Did you see
Beetlejuice
us?
is
Did you see Escape from LA in the theater, or no? That we weren't old enough, right?
video,
Yeah. Must have
video.
rented it. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
But right when it came out on video,
Yeah.
I saw most movies on video because the whole family could watch it. You know,
Right.
it's not
Instead of going to the theater. Yeah, I got you. Beetlejuice is what, 30 years old now?
36 years.
Oh my god.
I saw that in the movie theater in 1988. I was very young.
Yeah, you'd be like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I don't remember it. Just like freaking out. Like,
I remember
whoa, this
watching
is
it at a friend's
crazy.
house. I don't remember seeing it in a theater or
But that's
watching
like
it at
if a
sleepovers.
that's like in 1988 if a movie had a sequel to a movie that had originally come out in 1952. That would be like if Singing in the Rain 2 came out in 1988 and everybody was like, "Oh, cool, they're back.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're singing in the rain again." Beetlejuice. You know, I wouldn't mind Escape from uh
Florida.
Miami.
Yeah, Escape from Miami or Escape from the Florida Keys or something. Escape from
Es-
Puerto Rico.
Escape from Burlingame.
Ooh,
Escape from what's like the shittiest city you could think of?
Treasure
Es-
Island.
Escape from Colma.
Oh, you have to
Escape from San
square off.
Francisco.
Oh,
It's pretty shitty right now. People hate that city now. So,
yeah. It's not on the up and up.
but the problem is you can't shut these cities down to shoot, and that's what they had to do. So they had to go into St. Louis, which we talked
Escape from
about.
St. Louis.
Um, but yeah, this movie, I love this movie because it's fast. I mean, it's not fast, but it's short. I love the time it takes. I love the simplicity of it. There's this thing when you watch a movie from the early 80s versus now, like you realize they don't have a lot of scenes and they let their scenes breathe. They just kind of let it flow. They don't rush it. It's not like just now movies have like so much exposition. We would have to know like Snake's backstory, Snake, you know, in this movie there's like terrorists who take over Air Force One and crash it. We would have to know about the terrorists. The terrorists would have to come back. I don't know, maybe that would be good, or maybe it doesn't matter. Like the thing is, this whole movie is about Snake as a character and Snake as a vibe, and you just are with Snake. Once the plot gets going, you're just with him as he makes his journey.
If they
So,
made that today too, like they'd already be planning to make the second one, right? Whereas I don't think
oh yeah,
they
like
planned the
dude,
second one for this one, right? They just made this one and it turned out to be
great
good.
point.
So then they decided to make a second one.
Great point. After Lord of the Rings and then
Oh,
Harry Potter, it's like and then now Dune part 1 and part 2, you have to have the sequels ready to go. When we were children, you know, we loved Escape from LA, but I'm sure as an adult, like adults didn't like it. There was this sequels were like embarrassing. Sequels were like kind of it was like, yeah, we're not very creative. We're making a sequel. We're kind of pathetic. Yeah, let's just pump a sequel out. Like 90 sequels besides Terminator 2. It was all like no one respected them. People weren't, they would do okay, but they weren't like the whole thing. Like now everything is like a sequel, everything's a franchise. Ghostbusters, it's like you got to have a million sequels. You got to just keep pumping them out. Um,
sad. Definitely lack
like
of quality with that conveyor belt type setup.
and then like Wayne's World
Assembly
2,
line.
which is an interesting sequel, but not every movie needs a sequel.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
and
Or
so they
or
would just
two or three or four movies like they do.
um if the plot wasn't just Escape from New York, Snake, I mean, I hate to say it, since we're talking about sequels, Snake could have been like a James Bond type. He could have had like 3 or 4 missions, but it would have gotten old. It would have, because he's not James Bond is a secret agent. He's supposed to go on missions. Snake is a criminal, and it's like, Snake, we need your help. We know you're a terrible person, murderer, criminal, but you have to go to Hong Kong and you have to save the president of the United States. He has been kidnapped by gangs. They're abusing him. They won't let any soldiers in. We need your help. And he's like, God damn it. Again. And he's like, then he'd have to like go to China and he'd have to like do the same movie again. So yeah, I guess this movie doesn't really work as a franchise builder. Doesn't really need sequels.
I don't remember how they recruit him for Escape from LA, but I thought he got kind of disenfranchised at the end of this movie when he talks to the president and he's like, "Oh, what about the people who died or some shit?" He says, and he's like, "Oh," so I don't remember how they get him back in for the second movie.
It's the same. Everything's exactly the same.
Oh, he was gonna go to jail again.
Yeah, and then they
Oh,
just like, and then they give him a virus, and then they like. He also gets a special thing, like the tape in this one, and then like destroys it, humiliates the president.
oh, clever snake.
I mean, it's 100% beat for beat, exactly the same.
I didn't realize that.
That's a
Forgot.
very not. Home Alone 2 is like that. Every beat in Home Alone 1 is redone in Home Alone 2. Everything, instead of an old man, you got the old lady, you got the pigeon lady instead of, I mean, it's so crazy in Home Alone 2 when he has like access to another house because his like
Yeah,
aunt and uncle are like on the house is getting renovated. So then he just does the same thing all over again.
that worked out well though, right? Wasn't that was a huge hit?
Oh, yeah. I saw it in the theater. I loved it.
Definitely. Lost in New York. Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about the characters. We got Snake. He's cool. Lee Van Cleef tells him he has to save the president. And Snake is like, president of what? Boom. He's got a sense of humor. He's got attitude. He's clearly the inspiration for Solid Snake, Metal Gear Solid. But there's some other characters. We got Cabby, played by Ernest Borgnine. He's so happy when he's introduced. He's in that theater watching that Broadway show.
What crime do you think he committed that got him there?
That's what I was wondering. So he says he's been a cab driver for 30 years.
Yeah.
So he's from New York. Did he just stay there? But no, if he committed a crime, I mean, he's got pedophile vibes, let's be
That's what I
honest.
was thinking too.
He just has that childlike John Wayne Gacy smile. Ernest Borgnine, what a lovable actor.
Yeah, you see that in the opening credits, and I'm thinking like, how the hell is he gonna fit into this movie? And he's great. He's like the comic relief. He's like an old man. He's quaint.
He's got Molotov cocktails.
Sure. Knows his way around.
He also, okay, we need to talk about how much crime is on this island because he can just park his cab, go and lock the door, and then go and watch a Broadway show. Wouldn't like a guy with a car be so like such a target for just murdering and stealing his vehicle? Like they have no guards. There's no rules in this prison. Let me ask you
Weapons
this.
laying around everywhere.
Isn't this better for the prisoners?
Then
This
what, a regular
situation.
jail?
Yeah.
No, well, the only concern is there's no food. There's no there's no food, no women. I guess
There's women.
Yeah, there was women. A couple women.
There's a woman getting raped and Snake just walks by and just is like, hey, that's not my problem.
What are you gonna do? Shit happens.
Well, I guess the main resource they have is energy, and that's all provided by Brain. He has one oil derrick in a library, and he's pumping away, and he has like his own he has like the best setup.
Purifying gasoline, one man setup.
And he's got his girlfriend, Maggie.
Yeah.
Played by Adrian.
Perfect breasts, and everything else is just raggedy. She's got
Adrian Barbeau.
Yeah, her face
What about
is
her hair?
raggedy. Her hair is raggedy. Oh my god, she's wearing a fucking overcoat or something the whole movie. Perfect breasts.
That was John Carpenter's wife at the time.
Well, good for him, I guess.
She's also in The Fog. This is her second film. Her first film was The Fog. Yeah, so John Carpenter took her out of TV and put her in movies. She's also in Creepshow. That's an amazing.
Barbeau, that's like a famous last name. She's got like a famous mom or something. Swedish mom.
Really?
Am I mistaken?
The Queen Barbeau of Sweden.
Yeah, totally. Adrian Barbeau, who's going to be her mom? I don't know, whatever. Maybe I'm just making shit up.
Hey, but if you're locked up in prison.
Yeah, no, I get that. He's riding high.
Brain. He's smart. He's got the brain. Harry Dean Stanton playing that part, crushing it. What a likable actor, too. This movie, everybody remembers Snake, but it is an ensemble film.
Oh, yeah, totally. A lot of stars in there.
And then we got Mr. Isaac Hayes as the Duke of New York, #1. Definitely the greatest character entrance of all time. I mean, greatest theme song. The Duke is in this, what kind of car is that? Cadillac?
It's either a Cadillac or a box Chev, one of the two. I can't tell.
With chandeliers on it.
Yeah.
And it's like cowbell playing while his car arrives.
It's the best song.
He gets out, looks around. He's wearing like a pirate coat or like a marching band. He looks kind of like Napoleon.
And a hat, cowboy hat.
He kind of has an Africa Bambaataa look to him. But I guess they wore like robes. I mean, he kind of looks like Isaac Hayes, but it's kind of like the Warriors. It's kind of like this could have been a Western.
Sure.
Like there could have been because they they don't have guns.
Yeah, no rules in the Wild West would be similar to this.
As they shot Snake. They shot Snake with an arrow.
Yeah, definitely. Crossbow. They had a bunch of
right in
crossbows.
the leg. Right in the leg. I just think it's so crazy they have Manhattan and they get to run around doing whatever they want. I mean, this is a big city,
It's a playground.
and they just like they just wander the streets with clubs and garbage lids as shields, wait for a car to drive down the street and just smash it.
Yeah, it's funny.
They gotta
It's like
what did
Grand
they
Theft Auto or something.
remember No Escape?
That's the one where they're on an island with Ray
Yeah,
Liotta.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Same
It's
idea.
there was like a brain guy who was building like a boat, like a raft. There's the whole that's very similar to Escape from New York. Um, but they weren't really up to much either. They just kind of built. They had like tribal. They had this cool idea in that movie where they had four tribes, and then the tribes. One tribe was like really violent. Those are the bad guys, and then then you have your hippy dippy tribe, and then you have your other
Science tribe or something.
tribes. Yeah, and they would fight and have skirmishes and battles. I mean, that's what would happen in this
Alliances.
movie. You would create a feudal system.
There was only one team really was the Duke's team, and I mean, is that what they're saying? Like he's the only one that was able to unify anybody, or why
See,
would there would be other gangs for sure.
if you made a remake of this movie, you would definitely have to work on the gangs and work on the how the world of the island. There's so much to explore. Um, it's kind of like Planet of the Apes. I guess they did that. Yeah, like I guess that's what happens. Road Warrior, you turn into a feudal society very quickly. You have like landowners who create territory that is protected, and then you just have to like work for them. Waterworld.
I guess it becomes tribal, and then it becomes feudal. Some
First,
tribe controls more
yeah,
shit.
oil derrick or not an oil derrick. They're on an oil ship, right? They're just
Yeah,
and
the
they had jet
smokers have a thing
skis.
of oil. Yeah, the smokers have an oil tanker.
Fascinating. We really had some great post-apocalyptic movies, and it's been a while. We haven't had one in a long time. Fury
Well,
Road didn't really kick off any new ones. I guess there are, and I haven't seen them. There's like the Maze Runner, Hunger Games, and shit. But
I watched all the Maze Runner, and the other one was Divergent or something.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they're all right.
Last of Us TV show. Have you seen that?
Nah, I don't
That's
really watch
post
too much TV.
that's post-apocalyptic zombie kind of thing. I guess there's a lot of zombie things, Walking Dead. So you know what? I take it back. There's a ton of post-apocalyptic movies, TV shows. I just said Planet of the Apes. That's one. So
Isn't there another Planet of the Apes coming out?
yes,
Yeah, so I mean, there you go. It's there.
eventually, I think the new one is a time jump, and they might have like a. Is Dr. Zaius going to be in it? I hope so.
Yeah, we'll see.
Um, that's a post-apocalyptic film. The original. I'm not really a fan of the new ones.
Is Civil War considered post-apocalyptic?
I don't know.
I guess we don't know what's going on in the rest of the world until we
They
see
have
the movie.
power still. I think it's when they shut off the power grid. That's when things get crazy in America. That's
Wild.
like, yeah. Does Haiti have power?
I doubt it.
Who's running power in Haiti?
Barbecue.
Is he the Duke of New York?
Yes, he is. He's the Duke of Haiti.
See,
Haiti
they have
number
gun.
one.
They have guns in
They
Haiti.
got a hella gun. They're taking over police stations and shit. There's got to be guns inside there too once they take it over.
I'm looking at photos of Haiti, and it's so much worse than
Escape from New York.
yeah.
Just
But also
rubble.
they're well, they had that earthquake, so there's like
Yeah.
earthquake photos mixed with other photos of Haiti and riots and people with guns, and it just looks so wild. And
What's the
Haiti shares an island with the Dominican Republic,
Yeah,
right?
what's the DR doing? They have some sort of. They must have some strong ass border or something.
Well, that's America, right?
No, we have Puerto Rico. We don't have. I don't think we own. The Dominican Republic's not a colony of ours or something. I don't think so.
Hmm. I don't know.
Maybe.
I've never been to the Caribbean. I don't know anything about it.
Me neither.
That's like an East Coast kind of thing that people do. They'll
You
go to
don't see Puerto
Jamaica.
Ricans around here.
No. Brazilians, no. I mean, that's obviously South America, but like that's also you see a lot of them in New York. Um, Cubans. Cuba is
Florida.
they say people say Cuba is about to collapse.
I didn't hear that.
They're running
What's
out
going
of
to happen
food.
then? They can't grow. Oh yeah, yeah. They salted all the earth with sugar cane,
Well,
so they can't grow food.
what is the big fear of Cuba now?
I have I have no idea. They don't
Nuclear
have
missiles?
nukes. They don't have nukes.
They don't have anything.
Yeah, they have
Well,
cigars.
they don't even they don't rely on any communist countries, right?
What other communist countries are there? North Korea?
China, North Korea,
Yeah, China. I guess is still considered communist. I'm sure they trade with China.
Venezuela,
Yeah, maybe.
but they trade
Probably.
with Canada. I know they trade with Canada. I don't know. It's pretty ridiculous that's still
I think we're the
happening.
only one that has an embargo with them. I don't think anyone else follows. Does Britain follow that embargo?
And I don't think if we turn off that embargo now, it's going to be any better
Yeah,
because what are they going to do? Open a bunch of hotels and that's going to make everybody like super rich and happy.
sure. No.
I mean, they can't grow food, right? It's not a sustainable.
I didn't know they were running out of food, but yeah, that's a huge problem. Obviously, if you're on an island, you don't have food.
Only like America grows enough food to feed itself.
Yeah.
Most countries have to trade something. Like we can grow everything. It's like a pretty remarkable um, logistical system we've built up. We can raise meat, grains, everything.
Apples all
For,
year round, grapes all year round, every type of fruit and vegetable all year round.
well, I wonder if some of that's international trade,
It is. It is. It is. Yeah.
but like we could, I mean, like we could have like rice and meat, at least in America.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I actually have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm just making this up.
Yeah.
This microphone gives me a superpower where everything I say is true, sounds true. Um, but yeah, barbecue. He's kind of like the Duke of New York, and he's louder. Isaac Hayes is very quiet. It's kind of like he's big. He's a big guy,
He has no
but
presence in this movie. That's what I don't get. Like his style, he has a cool car, cool entrance, but nothing goes deeper than that. I don't see it. He doesn't seem tough. He doesn't seem scary. He just
and let me ask you
kind of
this.
there.
Let me ask you this. Is his big grand plan just to trade the president for freedom to escape?
Uh,
That's all I think that's all they want, right? They were
I
going to
thought he's
trade. That's what everybody's fighting for the president for their freedom. Like Brain wants the president. He wants to trade him on the bridge.
sure.
Everybody, that's basically as far as the motivations go.
He's the biggest bargaining chip.
Yeah. And they humiliate him. They put him a wig on him.
Cut his finger off.
Yes. They cut his finger off. They shoot guns at him and make him say the Duke of New York and say number one. What do you think about the president in this movie, Donald Pleasance?
Bad guy from James Bond.
Yeah, he played Dr. Evil in James Bond.
Dr. No, right? Was
Well,
he Dr.
no,
No? Or he just ran Spectre. He was like the head dude of Spectre.
Head of Spectre. I forget what his kid. It's the same character that Christoph Waltz played in Spectre.
Yeah.
It's something like Bogolov.
Yeah. But yeah, Dr. Evil's based off him, obviously.
And did you notice he had an escape egg?
Oh, in
Air Force One.
Yes, yes.
Blowfield. He plays Blowfield. You have the cat.
He electrocuted the dude with the button, the chair, number 8 or something.
He's a giant alcoholic, but he's an awesome actor. We don't.
What else is he in?
Halloween.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we got that.
He's in a lot of horror movies. Um, Great Escape. He's in almost all the Halloweens. He's in Prince of Darkness. You only live one. You only live twice. He's in Fantastic Voyage. He's in a lot of 60s movies. He's in a great Australian movie called Wake and Fright. He's in a Roman Polanski movie I like called Cul-de-sac. He's in THX 1138. I mean,
He's
this
a star.
guy,
He's a star.
he is like Michael Caine. He's just in a million things
He's a working actor.
because he's drunk and he needs the money. And he doesn't have big parts. He's not often the leading man. He has these like small parts. He's the villain. He's the weirdo. He's the scientist. He's the nerd. In this movie, he's a giant fucking dork. He's a bitch. He's the president of the United States and he's a worm. Roger Ebert hated Donald Pleasance in this movie.
Oh,
That
really?
was like that's like one of the main things he didn't like about it. He didn't think he was like, why is he the president? It doesn't make any sense.
Who else
But
would
that's
we
the
use?
but that's the joke. The joke is that the president's a nerdy Englishman, like a wiener. Like he shouldn't be in charge, and he's the guy in charge.
He's weak.
He's like Reagan.
Puppet.
Also, I guess Carpenter knew Pleasance, right? Because he's in Halloween. Donald Pleasance created a backstory about how he became the president. And it was that Margaret Thatcher took over the planet Earth with a one world government, and that he then she picked him to run the country. And he was like an English, middle manager, bureaucrat kind of guy.
Did you see that movie?
But John Carpenter's like, yeah, it was interesting, but no, I didn't really think it mattered. I think his idea is that he's president because he sucks and America sucks. Like America has lost its way in the future. Because that was kind of like America was losing its way in the 80s. That's what They Lives about. He didn't like Republican slick business guys. He doesn't like those guys. He doesn't like Gordon Gekko.
Right, the Wall Street dudes.
I think he likes the idea of like a hippie showing it to them. A guy with long hair, an authoritarian kind of guy. Getting a gun and just fucking taking these fools out. All the bad guys that They Live have nice watches, Rolex, suits, ties. They're all yuppies.
Like TV anchors, I remember a bunch of them.
They're basically all the Democrats now.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's what happened. Those people became not all of them, but a lot of them became like more liberal, which is interesting, but
it is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, what if the Duke of New York was Donald Trump? Or like, what if President Trump went down that island and then the people made him and he took over?
That would be cool. I'd watch that movie.
And then Snake is like a really cool college student who can take him out.
Assassinate the president. The CIA puts him on.
Yeah. Like a Spanish teenager with dyed like platinum blonde hair and jorts, and he has like an Uzi and he kills Donald Trump.
That would be sick.
Divergent 5, Escape
6.
from New York.
I want to say there's 4 or 5 of them already.
Well, what if Reagan was in this movie? I mean, he should have acted while he was president. He was a fucking actor.
That would have been awesome as well.
I'm guest starring on Cheers this weekend.
Hosting SNL.
That'd be so awesome with like Phil Hartman. He's like, what? And the church lady.
Yeah.
I happen to think you're very beautiful. And she's like, woo. Like she gets all horny. The church lady gets all horny. She's like, I get it. And he does like a rap.
Rapping
You gotta
Ron
have a fun.
Reagan.
You have to have a funny rap on SNL. Funny little. Yeah, he'd be good. I mean, he he's been on Johnny Carson. There's Johnny Carsons you can watch Ronald Reagan that are like really interesting. He they're in the 70s and he's talking about, oh, I might run for governor. You
Oh,
know,
he's super young then, right in the middle of his career.
he's not super young, but he's, late 40s, I guess, early 50s, but he's way more on it than he was by the end of his presidency. And the stuff he says is interesting. But for him, it was all about taxes. California taxes like went out of control in the 70s.
They were too high.
Basically, people's property taxes went up every year because they were updated based on the value of your house. And everybody's house value shot up in the 70s. And no one could keep up with their property taxes. The same thing is happening in Florida right now and Texas. Those states still have this old style system, and now they've had this influx of new people and the housing boom the last few years. So in the late 70s in California, they did a thing where once you buy your house, your property taxes are basically locked in forever. And they'll rise maybe 3% a year, something really slow and steady. So people will live in like million dollar homes and they're paying property taxes from the price of when they bought it, which could be like, $250,000.
Yeah, a few $100,000.
So it's this weird, but things like that were messing up California. And Ronald Reagan, he tried some shit. I don't know. I don't really know if it's better or worse. I don't know what it was like before or after, but we definitely live in a post-Reagan world. He took over California, then he took over America. And then he got the hell out of Dodge. And Donald Pleasance, I guess, is a lot like him to tie it all back. But that kind of like weasel guy in the 80s, that like Christian Republican slick guy, got the watch, got the hair, tanned. That kind of guy, those guys took over and changed America. They like changed until Trump, basically.
What a mess.
It must have been awesome that like the 30s to the 80s, we had the New Deal era. But it seemed to have worked at the time, but I guess by the end people hated it. People were pissed.
Who hates the New Deal on the left?
No one on the left. The New Deal was very popular when it was new, but is it 1980 or 1984 when Reagan just like fucking won 49 states?
No, I don't know.
I think it's 1984 election map. So if you look at the 1984 election map, Walter Mondale won one state, Minnesota, and Washington, D.C. He had 13 electoral college points, and Ronald Reagan had 525.
Holy shit.
So it was like the Democrat Party was just completely dead, just gone, just gutted.
Is that the biggest margin ever? I mean, it's
Yeah.
be. By far.
Yes, by far.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, even Lincoln didn't do that, because the South was against him. So that was like the death of the Democratic Party. The New Deal. That was the death of the New Deal. It was just over. People were like, fuck the New Deal. I don't know.
We need another New Deal. We need some sort of strong democratic something.
Yeah, it's too late now.
Yeah.
Now that once it happened, I think they knew how to make sure it never happened again. You know?
Make people live in fear.
It's crazy. Like if you listen to an anarchist talk, they just talk about what they want is basically escape from New York. They'll say they don't, but I mean, that's what it would turn into. Everything is privatized.
That's what
By who?
anarchists wants. They want everything privatized.
Anarcho-capitalists. Have you heard that?
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
that's a different form of anarchist, obviously.
Yeah.
This is
I
not
was
what
gonna say
the Berkeley anarchists. No, these are
classic anarchy.
libertarians,
Ugh.
economic libertarians, but they're anarcho-capitalists. They just want no rules for capitalism.
Libertarians are just Republicans that smoke weed.
They don't even smoke weed, a lot of them.
Oh my god.
What's amazing about the Libertarian Party is that I was reading their Wikipedia. They started in 1971 in Colorado. Just two guys came up with it.
I thought it was the Koch brothers.
I mean, maybe they bankrolled it, but originally it was just two guys coming up with this idea in 1971. Probably two former hippies. I'm assuming. I mean, I'm making this up. I have no idea. But they're on every ballot in every state for president. That's like a ton of work to get that going. And then they nominate,
The worst candidates ever.
Yeah, at the party convention. And then they just lose.
The worst possible candidates.
So did you notice Snake's weapons that he was given by Lee Van Cleef?
Yes. Revolver, Mac 10.
3 ninja stars,
Yes.
a belt, a bunch of like
He's like Batman.
he has 3. Did he use the ninja stars? God.
I don't remember any point that he used the Ninja Star. I did see that though.
Cabby has an awesome Molotov cocktail collection in his car. I love it when he just burns those guys up or burns up the alleyway.
With his expensive gasoline.
Yes, just that all extremely valuable gasoline, just burning it like that.
And
Did you
how
like
does
when
he get gas? The Duke just sells him gas, or
he charges
really-
fares in his
yeah,
taxi
and then
cab?
he buys the gas from the Duke. Okay, or their brain.
What if he
What's
was
their
like,
currency?
Snake, you gotta pay your fare now. Snake's like, what's the fare? He's like, you know what it is. And Snake has to get in the front seat, just blow him. And Cabby's like, he's like smiling and his head is rocking back and forth, listening to his Broadway music, his big band music with his little hat. Oh man.
Funny.
Yeah, what's the fare? What's the currency? It would be funny if the currency was rape. Just 100% rape economy.
Like prison.
But they're
Rape and
just like,
ramen.
they just get used to it and they just like, okay, fine. 2 sucks, 10 sucks, whatever. 20 sucks. Butt fucks, they just have to deal with it. They're like, okay, you gotta go fuck that guy real
Old-fashioned.
fast. Yeah, you want to buy some popcorn at the movie? You gotta get some, or the Broadway show, you gotta get some sucks. You gotta pay with some sucks, some fucks. They need to explain the money. I would have loved that. In the diner, Snake hides and he meets that woman. That woman, Season Hubley, that was Kurt Russell's wife at the time.
What? Before Goldie Hawn?
Yes.
What?
And technically, him and Goldie Hawn aren't married.
They're just common law, husband and wife.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
And Snake has no time for this chick, and she basically is grabbed by cannibals through the ground and then dragged away and eaten and killed, I guess.
Probably raped too. Probably gang raped and then eaten. Let's be
You think
honest.
these women need to like, who's the pimp? They need like a guy to like take care of them.
Well, the Bordeaux lady's got Cabby.
Or Brain.
Or Brain. Oh yeah, that's her boyfriend is Brain.
There's a cool part where they mention they're talking to Brain and Snake's like they know each other and Snake's like, I guess it didn't work out so well for Fresno Bob. He like alludes to this character, Fresno Bob. Who's Fresno Bob?
Yeah, I have no idea.
This movie does a good job of like hinting at things that happen, but then not explaining them, just talking about them. Like Snake fought in these wars in Serbia or something, and we don't get the full backstory, but we know it happened. And it just kind of it's a smart way to do a low budget movie and just kind of make the audience imagine these details, fill them in.
Theater of the mind. What crime did the Brain commit?
I mean,
Are they just all pedophiles? Is just everyone's a pedophile? It's pedophile island.
Do they have babies? What happens if you're born on that island? You're just a fucking child of rape and you just get raped? Yeah, so they don't explain what happens to kids because kids could definitely be born there. Maybe they're sterilized before they're sent to the island.
They didn't show that part either.
I would need to see that.
And they should have, as they should have.
But yeah, I think this island would be awesome if you're a prisoner. I would love to have my own little island, my own little apartment in New York.
Just rape, pillage, and plunder to your heart's desire. No rules. It's paradise, basically.
Live in the World Trade Center. I like when Snake arrives, he takes his glider, lands on the roof, gets out, walks up to the elevator, just hot wires it.
Yeah,
and the elevator doors open, but I thought there's no power. It's not like he conjures power.
Didn't they explain that though as some sort of like emergency power was on for the first 50 floors? They did explain it. And also, all these elevators that go all the way to the roof, which is hilarious. There's no such, it doesn't work out like that. It's not a parking garage. You got to have some place to put the equipment above the elevator. You know what I'm saying? It can't go to the roof. That's where the elevator stuff is.
Usually there's a stairway.
Sure.
Right? To get to the top.
Yeah, at least one floor.
You need the ropes, the cables to pull the elevator onto the roof. Well, look cool. It's the future, Mike. Come on. It's 1997.
I know. They got something else. Maybe it's gravitational.
They don't have any new cars. All the cars are old.
Supposed to be 1997. They got 30-year-old cars. It's like Cuba. It is like Cuba.
Yeah. That station wagon he drove is pretty awesome with the instead of glass, it has like metal grates.
Yeah.
And they drive through like 100, maybe like 1,000 crazy bastards just smashing their car.
Those cars were totally like Road Warrior. It's interesting how they both kind of came out with the same style vehicles.
Yeah, well, Mad Max 1 had been out, but
okay. So yeah,
it's definitely Mad Max 1 doesn't feel that post-apocalyptic because he's a police officer. It seems like it's like a violent future, but it's there's still some authority.
Yeah, there's structure. There's still some amount of structure there.
There's government. I like that part where the lady Susan Hubley asks him, she's like, "You're a cop, right?" And he's like, "I'm an asshole." There's a so when he gets the president and he gets captured, he then has to fight this humongous guy while everybody watches. It's like a gladiator match. And Escape from LA, when he gets captured, he has to play a basketball game to the death. What other games would be fun for Snake to play? Are bowling?
Maybe like a motorcycle thing that you ride on, and then you have a track behind you, and if you run into the other person's track, you die.
What about motorcycle jousting?
That would be tight. That would be tight.
You know, everything has to be kind of edgy. It has to be kind of like they're like Jackass games.
Hockey with weapons.
Grenade hockey.
Some sort of like the floor is lava game with real lava.
Running Man's a post-apocalyptic movie, right? Kind of.
Yeah, makes sense. Well, I don't
They
know
have
if
a
well, I don't really know if an apocalypse happened. You know, there's no, I
dystopia.
don't. Yeah,
Dystopia.
yes,
Definitely
dystopian.
dystopia.
Yes, yes.
Because also like Escape from New York isn't post-apocalyptic. It's just dystopian.
Yeah, yeah. We're using the wrong terminology.
Rollerball had that's a 70s movie. Did you ever see that?
No,
James
I did
Caan.
not.
It's not that violent. It has like a really cool poster where it seems like what they're doing is the game is very violent. It's not
roller
that
derby.
It's basically roller derby where they wear like gloves with metal like brass knuckles and they just like smash each other
My
and
parents would
people
talk about
die.
roller derby all the time, but I never saw the movie Rollerball. Roller derby was like a big deal back then.
Yeah, they're in like THX 1138. That's dystopian. There's a lot of these 70s dystopian movies where societies have these rules, these like very over um these like these very simple but basic rules that just like govern everything. There's one called ZPG, zero population growth. You can't have a baby. Logan's Run is one. You know, you die at 30. I guess that was part of like there was a thing in the 70s where they said overpopulation was going to destroy the planet. That was the big fear. Like right now, everybody talks about climate change.
Uh-huh. It was
Back
talking about
then-
overpopulation.
Back then, they talked about overpopulation and they said there was going to be an ice age. So it didn't really, they thought like we could never increase energy and increase like agriculture, food growth.
Well, where did the
To the-
ice age come from?
I don't know. I don't know, but they thought
They
there
were
was
just
going to be
wrong.
a new ice age. They were just
Well, then
wrong.
no wonder my parents are so against believing in global warming. That's what my father always says. Oh, well, before they said there's going to be an ice age, and now they're saying it's going to be too hot. How do we know they're getting it right this time? Now I
Yeah, but
feel like
that's also a conservative talking point that a lot of people say.
yeah,
And your dad just watches conservative
all day, every day.
media all day. That must feel good.
I guess.
It's
Yeah,
like-
just sitting in an echo chamber all day. I'm sure it's fun.
and just being but then you're confused like when the opposite thing happens.
Yeah.
But then you feel so good when the thing they predicted does happen and you're just like, they do it. They were right. They were right. Oh God, they were right.
I knew all along. Knew all along. Never
Oh
doubted him for a
God,
second.
they were right.
Never
The-
doubted
the-
him for a second.
The California shoplifting law was a bad idea. Oh, people started shoplifting. See, they knew. Yeah, well, California, you know, they make it look like it's Escape from New York when you,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
on conservative
yeah.
media.
Yeah, right.
Or,
San Francisco, especially.
yeah, they make it look like that. they'll show. I saw a guy on Twitter today. He's like saying hello from downtown LA, and he was in Skid Row, just driving down the street, and people are in tents. But the thing they don't talk about is that Skid Row, that whole area is just full of hotels and clinics and places for you to missions, places for you to sleep, but they don't let you in if you're on drugs. So no one goes in. They don't go. They're like, I'm not going to go to the mission. I can't do drugs.
Right.
So they just they just get a tent, or they're given a tent and
Sleep
they sleep
outside, get the food.
Yeah. So they're cool with it. I mean, these guys in Escape from New York would probably love a tent.
Why would there be more people living in the Twin Towers? When he came down, it was like totally empty. You would think there'd be people in there.
They cut it for budget reasons. Apparently they were going to have like Native American tribes in there. I don't know what that meant. I just heard them say that
I don't
in
know.
an interview.
Where does that come from?
They have like teepees and shit.
Because all the Native Americans that get thrown in jail, I thought they're on their reservations with their own laws.
They have no federal government. That's like a libertarian paradise.
Yeah.
The Navajo Nation. Yeah, the Navajo Nation in Arizona is like a quarter of the state.
Uh-huh.
And apparently they don't have like street names. If you call an ambulance, the ambulance will get lost. The mail is very unreliable there.
Sounds awesome. Probably the shittiest quarter of the state too.
It's hot there. Arizona, just like it's basically hell. Yeah. That game, so Snake wins, he takes a bat, he smashes the dude's head with spikes, and then turns out Brain kidnapped the president. And then did you notice that the one guy with the spiky hair?
Yes.
Who greets Lee Van Cleef or whatever. And he's like, You come in, we'll kill him. You do this, we'll kill him. That
30
character's
seconds to leave.
Yeah, that character's name is Romero. And Romero is the director of Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead. So that's a little John Carpenter paying homage to another horror person.
Sure.
That was a big thing at this time. There's also a character named Cronenberg in this movie. At the time, it seemed like this is like very clever.
Homaging to other people is cool at the time.
It'd be cool if the character's name was James Bond. Dr. James Bond, how are you? And it's just like a little Chinese guy with gadgets. I think movies should do that kind of thing. Like give us a twist. I want the next James Bond. Let's not do. We're gonna make 10 James Bonds. Daniel Craig is gone. Let's just have one weird James Bond movie just to do some new stuff, just to show us something that we'll never see. Because it's like, I know the next James Bond's gonna be English. He's gonna have a cool car. He's gonna go to exotic locations. Let's do something new. Let's just do like a $3 million James Bond movie. He's a Chinese doctor.
I thought the next James Bond was a black lady.
No.
Oh, I'm missing something there.
See, what they did in the last Daniel Craig movie was they had a woman named 006, right? Or playing 006, who was a black woman. And then at the end of that film, James Bond killed himself because he had a special disease that it wouldn't harm him. However, it would infect everyone in the world, and it wouldn't harm them, but it would infect his daughter and she would die. So James Bond was like, I can't live with this disease out there because I have a daughter. And then there was like, he called in a missile strike on himself and just took like 100 missiles.
That is retarded.
It was like, I was so mad watching it. I couldn't believe it. I just could not believe. James Bond is constantly in these situations where he can't get out, and then at the end of his life, he's like, I can't get out of this situation. I have to kill myself.
It's over.
I
give up.
I have to die.
There's no solution.
But it's because Daniel Craig really did not want to do a sequel ever again. He just was done. He did not want to deal with it. The pressure, the work, the fans, the whole thing. It was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. So, in that, if they had made another movie about who became 007, it probably would have been that 006 character in that movie. And what they did was they had all this press and they put all these press releases and they got all these stories and all these gossip magazines like, is the next James Bond a black woman? Maybe you should go see it if you're a liberal woman. You don't like James Bond? Maybe you'll like this one because there's a black female character in it for 10 minutes who drives his car, drives a motorcycle, and he's on the back. Yeah, they trick you.
They tricked me. Never going to get the black James Bond.
I think we should have one. Barbecue James Bond.
Well, that'd be tight.
James Bond kills barbecue.
That would be awesome. Who's going to play barbecue? Cuba Gooding Jr.?
He needs to. He won that Oscar and it just was all downhill. He's canceled, I think, for rape.
Oh, good for him.
Oh, type. Who's that one backyard boxer? He's dead, right?
Kimbo Slice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dead.
Kimbo Slice. Yeah, get like a really cool MMA guy.
All right, I can see that.
And then get Pierce Bronson back. Let him take him out.
That would be tight.
Bring him back for one. Come on, he's still alive.
He was a good James Bond.
Yeah. You'd have to pay him like $50 million, but that would be cool.
That would be cool.
GoldenEye 2. And he has to play the video game. I would pay to see that.
So what, 006 got reassigned to some black lady because 006 is Trevelyan.
Well, that was in the Pierce Bronson series. This is the Daniel Craig series.
No. 006 is still 006.
So at the end of this movie, they're escaping on this bridge. There's like mines. And the Duke, or not the Duke, Brain said he knew how to get through the mines. But what he does is him and Andrea Barbeau are just yelling like, go left, go right. There's a mine over here. There's a mine over there. She says go left, and then she gets blown up. Or no.
Brain gets blown up.
Brain gets blown up. And then she gets run over because she doesn't want to live anymore.
She like says,
suicide.
Give me a pistol. Yeah. And like shoots at the Duke and then gets ran over by the Duke.
The acting in this movie is good for this kind of movie.
Right.
Like it looks like there's a movie I saw at New Beverly where there were like guys with robot bodies. Like he was a cyborg and he had like wheels. What the hell is that guy? What the hell is this called?
There's so many metal guy.
Basically, he had like it's called like terror bodies or terraformers or some shit. It's like a ripoff of RoboCop, but he's also like a soldier.
Sounds terrible.
I cannot find it right now. I can't remember it right now. It's so late on a Sunday night, but it was awesome. Well, it's not that awesome, but the poster for Escape from New York looks like one of these complete shit canon movies, like garbage movies. But then when you watch it, it's like a slow mood piece with like character actors, with like witty dialogue, being quiet. It's not a ton of action. That's like the one thing that I think it needs is more action set pieces. But then again, what are they going to be? Like a car chase? Like, okay, car chase. We've seen that.
There's only so many cars on the island.
So at the end, Snake and the Duke are fighting, and then Donald Pleasance gets up over the wall, and Snake needs to go, but the Duke is shooting the guys who are supposed to lift him up. And then Donald Pleasance shows up with a machine gun and he kills the Duke of New York and gets revenge. I like that ending. I think that's cool. I like that Donald Pleasance, shows up with the machine gun and gets the Duke because he would be pissed. I mean, the Duke treated him like garbage.
Got his finger off.
Yeah.
Unless the president doesn't send his man to kill the Duke, he goes himself and shoots him himself. It's personal for him.
I think it would have been cool if he raped the president.
They could have implied that, yeah.
Just like a prison rape, gangbang. Like that Pulp Fiction kind of thing. Just give me something to really. I mean, these are terrible criminals. He's the worst criminal in the worst prison during a future version of America where crime has gone up 400%. He would rape the president.
Definitely.
Oh, that movie is called The Eliminators, 1986. It's a ridiculous film.
It sounds silly. Sounds pretty darn silly.
It kind of looks like it. If you put the poster for Eliminators and Escape from New York next to each other, I still think you would think Eliminators look shittier, but you'd be surprised how much better Escape from New York is. I think a lot of people dismissed it because of the premise. They just thought it was like, yeah, this is a cartoon. This is, comic book shit. This is 1981.
No, I agree that it's great.
They probably like ordinary people. So at the end, Snake gets rid of the cassette tape. The cassette tape of the future in 1997 contains the formula for nuclear fusion, which will save the planet. On cassette. And it's just a president explaining the formula or something. We got to get these people a fucking CD-ROM.
97 at least.
A zip disc?
Is there a laser disc or something then at this time?
What about one of those small cassette tapes? That became like a cool thing.
Yeah.
Like the answering machine tape. You would see that in movies like, hey, I got the formula right here. They would pull out like an answering machine tape, like the tiny little mini cassette tape or the mini CD.
Oh my gosh. Sony mini CD.
Remember on Batman Returns, they record the Penguin onto a CD and then Alfred puts on like headphones and then starts scratching the CD. And then like the video of the Penguin starts being like going back and forward in time and he starts repeating things.
No, I do not remember that.
I really love when movies do something like that where they use
technology.
Yeah, make up a technology or have a horrible video game. You notice people in movies when they play video games, they're like moving the controller around and they're hitting all the buttons and then there's like the sound has to be like the worst video game sound you've ever heard. And this is like a recent movie. It's just like it's the year 2019 and I'm playing like the shittiest PS4 game of all time. And they're just like clicking every button. All the buttons are being clicked. The sticks are moving as wildly. Their arms are going up and down. And then the sound is like Pac-Man sound.
Something extremely simple.
There's very few movies that treat video games seriously. Like really, or just have a normal human playing video games. I guess they're worried about the rights and they don't want to deal with it. So they're always just making it up. And the people who make the movies are too old and don't care. And they're too busy to know about video games. What's funny is John Carpenter, when he retired from directing, maybe it was 20 years ago, he said he just stays at home and plays Xbox all day and smokes weed.
Hell yeah.
And then
nice.
he's rich, has a mansion, and then like him and his son will go in the basement and they'll just play like rock music.
How old is he?
76.
That's nice.
He also watches basketball a lot.
I wonder what video games he plays.
PS5. He loves first-person shooters.
Hell yeah.
He loves
Now we're talking.
single player games. He's not into online.
Lame.
He likes games like Gears of War or like Halo. Maybe like GTA.
Red Dead.
Probably likes Red Dead. It's pretty dope. That's a cool life. Good for him.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm glad he's not making Escape from Chicago this year. I'm glad he's just like fuck it, because
What was his last movie?
it's called The Ward. I haven't
Never
even
heard of
seen it. It's like low budget. I think he made this movie Memoirs of an Invisible Man with Chevy Chase, and I think that just kind of
Yeah, I remember that movie. I actually remember that movie.
he just kind of wasn't the same after that. Although he did make some good movies still in the 90s. In the Mouth of Madness. It's probably his best 90s movie. Vampires with James Woods has its moments. Ghost of Mars is bad but cool. I like that movie.
That's the Rob
Yeah.
Zombie movie?
No, it's Natasha Henstridge, the Species actress, Ice Cube. They're on Mars, and there's like zombies,
Ghosts? Okay.
zombies going crazy because there's like prison labor. I think they open up like an ancient ruin. It's kind of like Doom.
Yeah, that's
If
what I was
Doom-
just thinking it sounded like.
So he probably was playing Doom and came up with this idea. It's a ridiculous film. I kind of want to do it for an episode on it. But yeah, I have a new game I want to play. So for ratings, normally we give our ratings, but this I want us to agree. Oh, there's only two of us, so it should be easy. We have to agree on a rating at the end.
4.5 stars.
I gave it 4.5 stars.
Oh, there you go. That was easy.
And
it's good. It's not perfect, but it's good. It's nostalgic. I liked it.
Has great style.
Yeah, the acting, the soundtrack is like one of my favorite techno albums. I listen to that the Duke Arrives Barricade song probably 3-4 times a week. So,
and Kurt Russell's awesome. He's the lead actor. That helps.
yeah, totally. It checks all the boxes.
I think They Live. I saw that recently. I gave that 5 stars. I think They Live is coming up hot in the charts. The Thing,
Kurt Russell's not in They Live.
I'm talking about John Carpenter.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. My mistake.
I think like They Live and The Thing are 5 stars. Halloween for me is 5 stars.
I haven't seen The Thing. I haven't seen They Live for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember liking They Live a lot. I remember it being very good.
The thing that They Live and The Thing have in common is Keith David. He's awesome. So yeah, 4.5 stars. I forget. I'm not sure which New York movie we'll do next, but it'll probably be one like where New York is just fucked up. Just a horrible depiction of New York.
All right.
There's a lot of good ones from this time. You know, The Warriors. We won't be doing that one, but that kind of movie. There's a lot of these movies where New York is just gang infested hellhole.
Sounds good to me.
Yep, that's the end. So I guess we'll play The Duke Arrives.